What if a single injection could silence the gene responsible for a heart attack before it ever happens? Not a daily pill, not a monthly infusion, but one shot that works for years. That is not science fiction. That is exactly what is happening right now in one of the most significant cardiovascular clinical trials of our generation, and millions of people with high cholesterol have no idea this option may be coming for them. Today we are talking about Inclisiran, the small interfering RNA therapy for LDL cholesterol, and the broader revolution of RNA-based cardiovascular medicine that is quietly reshaping how we think about heart disease prevention. If you or someone you love has struggled with high cholesterol, statin side effects, or a family history of early heart attacks, this video could genuinely change the conversation you have with your doctor. Let us start with the problem, because it is enormous. Cardiovascular disease remains the #1 killer worldwide. In the United States alone, someone has a heart attack every 40 seconds. A massive driver of that statistic is LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol that builds up in artery walls and triggers the plaques that cause heart attacks and strokes. For decades, statins have been our primary weapon. Drugs like atorvastatin and rosuvastatin have saved millions of lives, and there is no question about that. But statins have real limitations. Roughly 5 to 10% of patients experience significant muscle pain or weakness that forces them to stop. Many patients on maximum statin doses still cannot reach their LDL target. And statins require daily adherence, which sounds simple until you factor in real human life, where people forget doses, travel, get sick, or simply struggle with daily medication routines over years and decades. So researchers began asking a different question. What if instead of blocking the enzyme that makes cholesterol after the fact, you could go upstream and silence the gene that interferes with your liver's ability to clear LDL from your blood in the first place? That target is called PCSK9. Your liver naturally produces a protein called PCSK9 that degrades the receptors responsible for pulling LDL out of your bloodstream. When PCSK9 is working overtime, fewer receptors are available, LDL accumulates, and your cardiovascular risk climbs. People who carry rare genetic mutations that reduce PCSK9 activity have dramatically lower LDL levels their entire lives and a strikingly low rate of heart disease. That natural human experiment told scientists exactly where to aim. The first wave of PCSK9 therapies were antibodies, injectable biologics like evolocumab and alirocumab that bind to and neutralize the PCSK9 protein. They work extremely well, cutting LDL by 50 to 60% on top of statin therapy. But they require injections every 2 to 4 weeks, and their cost has been a significant barrier to access for many patients even after price reductions. Inclisiran takes a completely different approach. It is a small interfering RNA, a tiny synthetic molecule that works inside liver cells to essentially switch off the gene instructions that tell your liver to produce PCSK9 in the first place. Rather than intercepting the PCSK9 protein after it has already been made, Inclisiran stops production at the source. The clinical results have been striking. In the ORION trial program, which included over 3,600 patients across multiple phase 3 studies, Inclisiran reduced LDL cholesterol by approximately 50% on top of maximally tolerated statin therapy. What makes this extraordinary is the dosing schedule. After an initial injection and a second injection 3 months later, patients only need 2 injections per year. 2 shots annually to cut your LDL in half. The FDA-approved Inclisiran, marketed as Leqvio by Novartis, in December 2021 for adults with established cardiovascular disease or with a condition called heterozygous familial hypercholesterolemia, which is an inherited disorder that causes dangerously high cholesterol from birth. Now here is where the story gets even more interesting and where the ongoing clinical trial data matters enormously. The fundamental question that patients and physicians need answered is not just whether Inclisiran lowers LDL numbers, because it clearly does that. The question is whether lowering LDL this way with this mechanism translates into fewer heart attacks and strokes and longer lives. That outcomes data is coming from the ORION 4 trial, one of the largest cardiovascular outcomes trials currently underway. ORION 4 is enrolling approximately 15,000 patients with established atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease across the United Kingdom and the United States. Participants are randomized to Inclisiran or placebo on top of standard care. The primary endpoint is major adverse cardiovascular events, meaning heart attack, stroke, or cardiovascular death. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. This one genuinely excites me because of what it could mean for so many people living with cardiovascular risk every single day. I want to ask you directly, have you or someone you care for been told your LDL is still too high despite being on a statin? Drop your experience in the comments below, because your story might help someone else in this community ask the right question at their next appointment. If you want to stay on top of clinical trial breakthroughs and MedTech developments like this every week, please subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Next week we are looking at a gene therapy that just hit a major milestone for a condition affecting millions of people who have never had a treatment option. You will not want to miss that one.